Stanley Rower gripped his grandson's shoulders and said, just loud enough for the whole extended family to hear, "You're not truly one of us, Darian. That kid isn't even your blood." Darian Whitlow froze, fork suspended mid-air as barbecue sauce dripped onto his khaki pants. Conversation halted like someone had cut the music, dozens of relatives turning in unison. Amanda's laughter stopped cold. Across the table, Curtis Bragg, her father's business ally of 2 decades, smirked faintly. "Dad, don't," Amanda murmured, her voice flat, barely resisting. "I'm just saying what everyone's been thinking," Stanley said, letting go of 8-year-old Zach with a final pat. He adjusted his pastel polo and added, "Time for the family photo. Actual family only." Darian saw the light in Zach's eyes flicker out. The boy had been counting down to this reunion for weeks. Now he stood frozen, caught in the riptide between his grandfather's cruelty and his father's restrained fury. "To the fountain, everyone," Amanda's mother sang, waving her camera. "Stanley, Brian, Curtis, Amanda, little Zach," she called, cheerily. Curtis stepped forward like it was his cue, placing a proprietary hand on Zach's shoulder. The boy turned to Darian, confused. "Dad?" he whispered. That's when Zach slid a folded sheet of paper across the picnic table toward Stanley. "Dad told me to give you this if you ever said anything mean about him again." Stanley unfolded the paper. His complexion faded to chalk, his mouth pressed into a tight line. His hand shook. "What the hell is this?" he barked. Darian smiled, cool and measured. "Just some light paperwork, nothing pressing." But Stanley was already retreating, fist clenched, around the letter. Curtis leaned over to peek. Amanda's face drained of color as soon as she saw the official letterhead. "You snake," Stanley muttered. "You've been monitoring us." "I'm an accountant," Darian replied evenly. "Tracking patterns is what I do." No one cared about the photo anymore. Zach darted back to his father's side. Amanda stood rooted in place, torn between the life she grew up with and the man she thought she could outmaneuver. 3 weeks earlier, Darian had planted the first camera. He never thought he'd be the type, but when your kid starts hiding bruises, your wife suddenly has late meetings twice a week and your father-in-law looks at you like something he scraped off his shoe, you adjust. The first device was the size of a coat button, hidden behind a framed photo in the hallway. It had a perfect angle on the kitchen table, Amanda's usual stage for her so-called work calls. That morning, she said she was heading to a spa day with Jennifer. Strange, Jennifer had just phoned asking if Amanda wanted to meet for lunch. Darian handled logistics for the Wilmington Port Authority. He lived by numbers. And Amanda's numbers, her routines, excuses, locations, had started shifting about 6 months ago. He checked the camera feed, kitchen empty, pulled up the phone records. Amanda wasn't at a spa. She was checked into the downtown Marriott room, 347, the same suite Curtis Bragg had lived in since his messy divorce. A text chimed. "Dinner with Dad and Curtis. Work-related. Love you." Darian took a screenshot and filed it in a folder marked Evidence. Then he rang Zach's school. "Hi, this is Darian Whitlow, just double-checking my son's emergency contacts. Let's see. We have you, Amanda, and... oh, Curtis Bragg." His stomach turned. "When was that added?" 3 months ago," she replied. "Is something wrong?" "Not at all," Darian said calmly. "But it was very wrong." Curtis had no legal tie to Zach, unless Amanda was laying groundwork for something bigger. He opened a new folder, Insurance. Over the next week, packages arrived in plain boxes, wiretaps, GPS units, audio bugs, a cloned iPhone setup, digital surveillance. Darian found wasn't far removed from forensic accounting. He attached a tracker beneath Amanda's BMW, dropped a recorder into her handbag, synced her phone to a dummy device. That night Amanda was jumpy, glanced at her phone every few minutes, avoided eye contact. "How was your day?" she asked. "The usual," he replied. "Spa nice?" "Very relaxing," she said quickly. "Jennifer says hi." He helped Zach with fractions. When Amanda went to bed, Darian sat down and reviewed the files. GPS, Marriott, audio, Amanda, Curtis, and a third voice, older. The offshore account is safe, but if he digs into local transfers, we're toast. Darian. Doesn't dig, Amanda replied. He's obsessed with spreadsheets, totally clueless. He moves millions for a living, Curtis pointed out. Exactly. He's predictable, Amanda dismissed. He won't push back. Darian paused the recording. That third voice? Stanley Rower. He opened a blank document. If they thought he was weak, they were about to learn how wrong they were. The next day, the school counselor called. Mr. Whitlow, this is Sarah Martinez from Pine Valley. I wanted to discuss something about Zach. I'm listening, Darian said. He's withdrawn. Yesterday, he asked if kids can pick which parent they live with during divorce. A chill slid down Darian's spine. Go on. He said his mom and grandfather have lots of serious talks. That a man named Curtis visits your house a lot. He also asked about laws that let moms take kids away from dads. Darian thanked her, then dialed his lawyer. This is damning, said Margaret Chen, combing through the data. Images, recordings, GPS reports, banking irregularities. These financial moves, she said. Amanda and her father are draining your joint accounts into Curtis's shell companies. Fraud is on the table. And custody? Trickier. We'd need proof she's unfit or planning to disappear with Zach. Darian handed over a new document. How about this? Her brows shot up. Where'd this come from? Curtis is careless. It's a lease for a home in Florida, signed by Amanda and Curtis. Effective next month. That's an attempted relocation, Margaret said. We can file for emergency custody and bar the move, but we still need clear signs of intent to cut you out. I'll get it, Darian promised. That night he tailed Amanda to Stanley's place, listened through the hidden mic. The DUI will finish him, Stanley said. And if he resists, Amanda asked, we escalate, drugs, fake reports, whatever works. Curtis chuckled. He won't even get weekends. And Zach? Amanda asked. Kids adjust, Stanley replied. Curtis will raise him better. Darian saved the file and went home. Zach was awake. Dad, are you and Mom breaking up? Darian sat beside him. Why do you ask? I heard her say something about custody. Grandpa said you aren't my real dad. That? You made a mistake. Darian's expression stilled. Zach, look at me, he said gently. I'm your father. From day one. Nothing changes that. Not Grandpa. Not Curtis, no one. But what if they try to? Darian handed him a sealed envelope. Then you give them this. What is it? Protection. The arrest came Thursday night. A bogus traffic stop. Officer claimed DUI. Darian kept composed. Filmed everything. Cooperated. Blew a .08. Impossible. He hadn't touched alcohol. He demanded an independent blood test. Results would show 0 alcohol. But Amanda already had what she needed. A paper arrest. She never called. Never came. Her first real mistake. Where were you last night? He asked when she finally answered. Out with Jennifer. I didn't know you got arrested. Funny. Jennifer was at book club. I checked. Why are you checking on me? Because you left me in jail. Because Zach was home alone. Because you're lying. You're paranoid. Am I? Then explain Curtis on the school forms. The Marriott, Florida. Silence. We need to talk, Amanda said eventually. After Zach's asleep. But when she came home, another guest was already waiting. Stanley sitting smugly in the living room, sipping from Darian's favorite mug. We're done playing nice, Stanley said without looking up. You'll drop the custody suit, plead out, accept Amanda's terms. Which are? Supervised visits only. No overnights. 60% of your income. You sign an NDA about all our dealings. Darian calmly poured himself coffee. No. Amanda storms into the house, barely able to contain her fury. Her eyes burn with betrayal. Amanda, voice shaking. How could you? You swore it was over between you two. That you chose me. Choking on the words. You've been lying this whole time. Tom, Amanda, wait. It's not what you think. Amanda spits back. Not what I think? I saw you, Tom. With her. Laughing like nothing ever ended. Like I don't even exist. Beat. Do you know how small that made me feel? Tom, it just happened. We ran into each other. That's all. You're blowing it out of, Amanda, don't, snarling. Don't you dare gaslight me. Beat. I've stood by you through everything. I picked up your pieces, helped you rebuild, and this is how you repay me? Tell Amanda, please, I made a mistake. I didn't mean to hurt you. Amanda, mocking laugh. Didn't mean to. You kept seeing her. Again and again. Behind my back. That's not a mistake, Tom. That's a choice. Tomai was confused. I didn't know how to let go. Amanda quietly, deadly. But you let go of me. Every time you answered her calls. Every lie you told. You let go of us. Tomai still love you, Amanda. Amanda shaking her head, near tears, no. You love the way I loved you. The loyalty, the safety, the forgiveness. Beat. But I'm done being your fallback plan. Tom, can't we fix this? Amanda, silence, then cold. Some things don't get patched up, Tom. Some things burn so bad they don't leave anything behind. She turns and walks out. Tom is left standing in the ruins of everything he broke. Fade out worth? Darian questioned, estimating it might be around 5 to 7 years, rather than the 15 to 20 years Agent Mitchell had suggested. He added, she'll be released while Zach is still a teenager. When Darian asked about Stanley, still at large, Agent Mitchell assured, with the info Amanda gave us, we'll find him soon. After the agents left, Darian sat on the couch, beside Zach. The house felt different, quieter, heavier with sadness, but somehow safer. Dad, are you angry at Mom? Zach asked. I'm disappointed, Darian answered. What's the difference? Zach pressed. Being mad is when someone hurts you intentionally, Darian explained. Being disappointed is when someone you care about makes choices that harm everyone involved, including themselves. So you still love her? Zach wanted to know. Darian paused, considering. I love the person I thought she was, he admitted. I'm not sure that person ever really existed. Are you going to try to hurt her back? Zach asked quietly. No, Darian said firmly. Why not? Because causing pain doesn't heal the pain they caused, Darian replied. It only spreads more hurt. Zach nodded thoughtfully as if it made perfect sense. Dad, can I ask something else? Always, Darian said. How did you know Mom was lying about everything? Darian almost smiled. Because I'm an accountant. Numbers don't lie. When they don't add up, something's wrong. And you watched her? I did, Darian confirmed. With cameras and stuff? Yeah, cameras and other things, Darian admitted. That sounds kind of mean. Darian nodded. Sometimes protecting your family means doing things that don't feel good. Like what? Like not trusting people you want to trust. Gathering evidence against people you love. Being ready to fight when you'd rather have peace. Zach sat silent for a long moment. Dad, will you watch me like that when I grow up? Only if you give me a reason to, Darian said. But I hope you won't. I won't, Zach promised. I want to trust you, Darian said. Together, they sat in the quiet house, two survivors of a battle they never wished to fight. Outside, the FBI agents had left. Amanda was gone. The immediate danger had passed, but Darian knew the hardest part was just beginning. Zach would need therapy to work through the trauma. They both had to rebuild their sense of safety and normalcy. And eventually, they'd have to figure out how to relate to Amanda once she was out of prison. For now, it was enough that they were together, safe, and that the truth had finally prevailed. 3 months later, Amanda was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison. Stanley was captured in Mexico and extradited to face trial. Curtis accepted a plea deal that would keep him behind bars for 25 years. Darian and Zach began slowly rebuilding their lives from the ruins. The family courtroom was crowded on a chilly Tuesday morning in November. Darian sat at the plaintiff's table beside Margaret Chen, watching Amanda's attorney plead for visitation rights. Amanda wore an orange prison jumpsuit and handcuffs, looking smaller and more fragile than Darian remembered, diminished by 6 months in custody. Judge Patricia Hendricks had reviewed all the evidence: surveillance videos, financial fraud, records, money laundering documents, attempted kidnapping charges. She also reviewed Zach's psychological evaluation, which showed remarkable progress in therapy. "Mrs. Whitlow," Judge Hendricks said, "you have pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit money laundering, drug trafficking accessory charges, and attempted kidnapping. You've been sentenced to 6 years in federal prison. Today we will decide whether you retain any parental rights upon release." Amanda stood. "Your Honor," she began, "I know I made terrible mistakes, but I love my son. I want the chance to be part of his life." Judge Hendrick looked at Darian. "Mr. Whitlow, what are your thoughts on supervised visitation?" Darian glanced at Zach, who was sitting in the gallery with Jennifer. Zach nodded slightly. "Your Honor, Zach and I have discussed this extensively with his therapist. He wants to maintain a relationship with his mother. We are willing to consider supervised visitation under certain conditions." "What conditions?" the judge asked. Darian listed. "Amanda must complete substance abuse treatment, parenting classes, and a psychological evaluation. All visits must be supervised by a court-appointed social worker. Zach may refuse visits if he feels uncomfortable. Amanda will have no access to Zach's school or medical records or decision-making regarding his upbringing." The judge turned to Amanda. "Do you accept these conditions?" Amanda glanced at Zach, who gave her a small wave. "Yes, Your Honor," she said. "Then I award full custody to Darian Whitlow," Judge Hendrick declared, "with supervised visitation rights for Amanda upon her release, subject to the conditions Mr. Whitlow outlined." The hearing ended. Amanda was led away in handcuffs, but not before silently mouthing, "I love you," to Zach. Outside the courthouse, Margaret Chen shook Darian's hand. "You did the right thing," she said. "Allowing visitation shows you're focused on Zach's best interests, not revenge." "I'm not interested in revenge anymore," Darian replied. "I want to move forward." But that afternoon a call came that changed everything. "Mr. Whitlow?" Detective Morrison's voice came over the phone. "This is Detective Morrison, with Wilmington PD. We found some evidence you may want to see." "What kind of evidence?" Darian asked. "A storage unit rented by Curtis Bragg," the detective explained. "Documents, photos, recordings suggesting your wife and her family planned more than just money laundering." "Like what?" Darian pressed. "Like your murder," Detective Morrison said. Darian felt the floor drop away. "My murder?" "We found detailed plans," the detective said. "Staged accident scenarios, insurance policies taken out on your life without your knowledge, payment schedules for a hitman." "When were these plans made?" Darian asked. 3 months ago, after your sentencing hearing, when everyone thought the crisis was over." Darian sat heavily. "Are you telling me my wife planned to have me killed?" "We believe Curtis Bragg was behind it," Detective Morrison confirmed. "Whether Amanda knew is still under investigation, but she took out $2 million in life insurance policies on you, with herself as the beneficiary. Even though she's in federal prison, the policies were arranged to pay out to a trust she can access after release. Very sophisticated." Darian thought of Amanda in court that morning, pleading for visitation, promising to be a better mother, all while plotting his murder. "Detective, what happens now?" "We arrest Amanda Whitlow for conspiracy to commit murder," Morrison replied, "and we'll need to ask you about any suspicions you had." "I suspected my wife was capable of many things," Darian said, "but I never imagined she'd try to have me killed." "Well, Mr. Whitlow," Morrison said, "it looks like you underestimated her." That evening, Darian sat down with Zach again. "Buddy, remember how we talked about your mom making bad choices?" "Yeah," Zach replied. "Well, it turns out they were worse than we thought." "Worse how?" Darian struggled to find words suitable for Zach's age to explain the concept of murder for hire. "She was planning to hurt me," he said. "Really? Badly. So badly that I wouldn't be here to be your dad anymore." Zach stared. You mean she was going to kill you? Yes. Even after she said she loved me? Yes. Even knowing that would make me an orphan? Yes. Zach was silent for a long time. Then, in a voice older than his 9 years, he said, Dad, I don't want to visit her anymore. Are you sure? I'm sure. She's not my mom anymore. She's just someone who used to live here. She's still your biological mother, Darian reminded him. That doesn't change anything, Zach said. Moms don't try to kill their kids' dads. Darian pulled Zach into a hug. No, they don't. Dad? Yeah? I'm glad you're smarter than she thought you were. Me too, buddy. Me too. Amanda's second arrest made headlines nationwide. Suburban betrayal, drug money, family lies, and attempted murder gripped the news cycle for weeks. Stories told of the quiet accountant who outsmarted a deadly plot against himself. Darian ignored most of the media buzz. His focus was the FBI's final report on Curtis Bragg's criminal enterprise. It was bigger than anyone suspected. Curtis wasn't just laundering drug money. He was running shipments through the very port where Darian worked. Amanda hadn't just had an affair with a criminal. She'd been an accomplice helping plan crimes at Darian's workplace. She played you perfectly, Agent Mitchell told him during their last debrief. She knew your schedule, your security clearances, your access codes. Curtis planned to use that info for major shipments next spring after I was dead, Darian said. Exactly, Agent Mitchell confirmed. As your widow, she'd have had full access to your work files and security systems. Zach would have been her cover story. The grieving mom working to support her fatherless son. Perfect disguise. Darian felt sick. She was going to use their son as a pawn. That's why the court's conditions are so strict, Agent Mitchell said. No unsupervised visits, no sensitive info shared. Zach's safety is top priority. Darian nodded. For your part, the agent continued, you've done everything by the book. The law is on your side, and Zach's future is protected. 6 months later, Zach thrived in therapy and school. Darian spent evenings coaching Zach's soccer team, rebuilding trust and normalcy. Amanda remained in prison, her appeals denied. Her letters home rare and desperate. Darian never stopped watching. Cameras in the house, phone records, emails, all monitored closely, because one mistake could mean the end.